At this point in time, I've started and I'm building an organization. It's a nonprofit organization in our community called Kaleidoscope. And we service individuals 15 years through life who have autism spectrum profiles. If you listen to the news, you know autism's on the rise. 2 weeks ago, the statistics came out. 1 in 88 individuals, 1 in 54 boys. It's quite alarming, and I've been working with this specialty for the last 15 years, for the last 5 years, so I'm sure it's a lot longer. There was a need in our community. I heard the need, and I went to find solutions, couldn't find them, and decided on my own to start a nonprofit. I work in the field of disabilities, and I have 2 daughters, and my youngest at the age of 4 had a progressive neurological illness, and I spent 10 years caring for her and providing supports and lived the life of an individual, a mom with a child with disabilities and a family in a community. She died when she was 14, and it was my greatest effort put into that, and probably my greatest joy in knowing that I could help her live her life as her health deteriorated, to find services and provide. I have a wonderful family who gathered around too. I would say that's probably my greatest joy in thinking about her life and my accomplishments as a mom. My daughter's disability was very physical. She neurologically deteriorated, so at the end of her life she couldn't scratch her nose or walk or talk or even cough for herself. And I began working with people with disabilities. I've always been, even when I was young, I was involved in the youth organizations for Youth Park and organizations for individuals with disabilities. But living it was quite different. I think it helped me gain great insight into what's trauma and what's triviality in the world. It opened my eyes to what families endure when they have individuals with a disability. Now, hers was extremely physical. You could tell people were often kind. They would hold doors for me and they would help me lift her, and they were quite kind. The individuals I work with have invisible disabilities, and they often ask me, how did you get started in this work? Do you have a child with autism? Why are you doing this? And I'll say, I was treated very kindly. Mothers of sons with autism and daughters do not get treated often as kindly. They often get judged as bad parents, or you ought to just smack your kid, you ought to just teach him better, you ought to just expect more, or you ought to be a better parent. And they often get judged as a parent who's not doing the right things for their child. It's very difficult shoes. So my heart reaches out to them because of their child having a disability, knowing what those shoes feel like. As I began to reflect on the women mentors in my life, I see a pattern, a definite pattern. So I go back. I was raised in a strong Catholic family, and I went to a parochial school for 1st grade through 8th grade, and the order of nuns, which I won't name, I thought were unduly harsh and strict, and I vowed one day to become a teacher, and I'd come back to the school, which is still together, and I would teach those nuns a thing or two about how to treat children. When I look at this pattern, I think the people that helped me and it showed me that, gave me the gifts I have now that I think lead me into this position as a finalist in this arena for women, which are self-discipline. I learned discipline from the nuns and from the people at Villa. I learned a strong work ethic, to work hard and to accomplish what you want to. I learned about a higher power, higher than myself, to respect. And I also learned empathy and service to the community. And I think when I was learning those, I was bucking all of that. I didn't enjoy it. And I know children from my work don't have the insight emotionally to know what's best for them and to know how does someone raise and teach you those very strong internal fundamentals. So even though I resented all of that now, I have them to thank as women in my life who taught me the very important things I think that led me here. Being in the nonprofit world is wonderful. It brings you under the same roof with all people who are trying to make this community better. So the collaboration is great, to know those people, to see them, each for their own cause, trying to do something good in the community. I began working on a project where I believe I'd like to see Erie be an inclusive community, a fully integrated community.